well. Shall I start? Venkat, am I audible clearly? Am I audible? Clear and loud? Am I audible? Venkat, please speak. No. I'm not able to. I think you have to enable the audio and video. Can you, am I audible, Venkat?
You are audible.
Yeah. You are also audible now. I think, again, it got cut.
Now, is it audible?
Absolutely clear and loud. Yes.
Oh,
super. Right. Very good afternoon, friends. At the outset, let me welcome each and every one of you for the Sunday special webinar series exclusively on artificial intelligence. This is a buzzword in this current decade. Of course, this subject has started its significance way long back when the Companies Act, the previous Companies Act started. The previous Companies Act was launched on 1956. That was the year this term artificial intelligence was coined. We have with us an AI expert, founder catalyst, and a technology-driven professional with rich experience with more than 2.5 decades exclusively on this domain. Also, a honorary resident director of Microsoft India, Venkatarangan Thirumalai. So a long-standing friend of mine, my schoolmate, and a proud alumni of Shrine Velangani group of institutions. Friends, we are going to take you through the interesting facets of artificial intelligence in various parts. Part by part, we will try to unravel the profounding mystery and the flavor of AI. Today's coffee flavor will be, this is a coffee talk with Venkatarangan Thirumalai on AI. He has been speaking on this as a keynote speaker for quite some time in various forums, in English, Tamil, and in his own inimitable style he delivers it. So with such a brilliant professional with us, I am a domain expert in the finance side, and he is a domain expert in the technology side. And this combo, we'll try to bring before you the practical aspects of AI. Very good afternoon, Venkatarangan Thirumalai. Thank you very much for joining with us. I will be a meet facilitator in representing our viewers, asking questions on behalf of the viewers what AI is. I will now start with our specific topic in artificial intelligence called natural language processing. Of course, we have already done one session on AI long back, and with the request and support of Venkatarangan Thirumalai, we propose to have a series of program every Sunday exclusively on this. So this Sunday will be on NLP. So let us understand the connect between AI and natural language processing. Today, maybe an example which I know is we can talk with machines today. Alexa, we are able to talk. Siri, we are able to talk. And the machine is able to understand our language. Over a period of time, I don't know whether we will talk more with the machines and less with humans, or we will forget to talk with humans. So that is how it has been going. And inside the family, see, in cities like metros and Bombay, Chennai and all, same apartment will be there, but they will be next apartment owner, but they will not talk each other. But today what happens? Inside the family, everybody is having a machine and they talk with machine, not with human beings. So
To my son, I'm talking to him only to WhatsApp.
oh,
So he says, "Why are you calling me? Message me." So that's how it is.
well, Venkatarangan, we wish to listen to you. What is natural language processing and its connect with artificial intelligence?
Okay. Thank you, TK, for the opportunity. I love to talk on this subject for hours. But this is a very interesting thing that you have taken, natural language processing. There are 3 keywords. We'll focus on the first one, language. My audio is okay, right? Clear?
Absolutely clear and loud.
Okay. Because we are talking language. Language is all about communicating. So if my words don't reach you, then my ideas are not going to come to you correctly. So it's very important. So let's focus on that word language. We'll park it for a minute. I have a small question for you. When we talk about today any field, even if you take your rules or income tax laws for that matter, tax rules, okay. Have you ever thought how is those tax rules communicated, or even what are tax rules?
Well, those are all basic, maybe in a technology term, those are all algorithm. Basically, a set of rules, conditions, which we need to follow. You have income, you pay tax. How to pay tax, how much you have to pay tax, everything is an algorithm, standardized algorithm.
Perfect. I want to simplify, but you have taken to the complex example. I'm trying to simplify it here, but thanks. Okay, how is those rules communicated? So some finance minister or a budget or the government has created those rules. How is it communicated to you and the thousands of professionals and the billion Indians out here? How is it?
Very good. So through a government gazetted notification, and we call that as an act under rules. And that is our Bible. So that is a document. That document we have to read, understand, comprehend, and then apply.
Fantastic. Now, the document is there, right? What is there in the document? If you look at it still further, go one level still further down and simplify, like going into electrons in atom, etc. There, at the end of the day, it's a language, right?
It is an English text with some numbers.
We'll take it as abstract. Okay, Chinese tax rule could be in China, Chinese Mandarin, etc. But at the end of the day, look at it here. We never think about it, because once we are literate in 3rd LKG or UKG, once we know how to read and write or speak, we don't think about language after that. We take it for granted. We only think about improving the language. But the basic language is taken for granted. So your tax rules at the end of the day is some language text written, or it's language. So language is the one that has been helping humans for centuries to communicate ideas, preserve ideas. Even now we are saying Indus Valley civilization had this script, or Mesopotamian and all this. We are able to talk to people who are like 3,000, or in the Egyptian case, some 4,000 years back, who have died. Like time travel, we are able to do and talk to them because there is some language that has come in. Okay. So language is how humans communicate, is how everything humans have done is all language. The reason I'm drilling down into this is so important to understand a concept which you have taken for granted. Now that is aside, how humans are communicating. Now computers always know how to do computing languages. Your C++, assembly. At the end of the day, they are all binaries. They, at the machine level, at the hardware level, they know how to interpret them and understand them. But now you give this language of human knowledge corpus, these two don't meet together. That is where NLP fundamentally comes into picture. Natural language. You could also call it as human language. Then it will become a little scary if you say human language. Oh, then there is a computer language. Oh, computers are going to take over the world. Then they will talk to themselves. All that will come. So people who came up with this term about 70 years back, they were brilliant people. So they coined it as natural language processing. So language we understood, natural we understood as human. Processing is how are we processing, how are we understanding. So that is NLP. There is nothing fancier in NLP. When we talk about NLP, people always think of the statistic model, the functions, the mathematics, and all that, computation, linguistics, and all that. Nothing again. Those are all important. But I take this book. I don't think about there is atom, there is ink, there is paper, and all that. I see it as a book. So let's talk NLP as a concept. So it is natural language. How do you make machines understand human languages? That is fundamentally what natural language processing is all about. You type a word down.
Now I'll just understand like this. We in finance, we come across various data. Like for example, we'll have past records. We'll have the birth certificate. We'll have the deeds, partnership deeds, articles of association, memorandum. We come across various documents. So some will be in text, some will be written. Financial statements, text and numbers. We wish these documents, there were times these documents were in paper. Now what we do, we scan it, put it in PDF, and we put in some cloud, or we keep it as a backup. But we wish machine reads it. For example, I have thousands of PDF documents. I wish my machine reads the document, pulls out, rather than I go and search and read the document and then take it out. I don't want to use my eyes and then burn my eyes. But I want machine to read those documents unstructured, because some will be in one format, some will be in other format. That is why I'm using the word called unstructured. Structured means all the documents are in same format. So different formats. So now, will your NLP, I will use the word our NLP, will it, can it read, can it understand, can it throw back what I want? Okay, this is what you want, no? Take it, like this. So I wish, this is my second question to you, like an application. See, I'm a domain guy, so I don't see behind machine. I don't see what is inside machine. I only see in the front side of the screen. So can it give me this result? Can it understand this document data and then give me, so that I can go to the next level? I will ask then NLP to analyze stock data. I'll ask NLP to analyze various other data to do it. So quite interesting. So over to Venkat.
Okay, so that's a very interesting question. So allow me to just step back into the earlier conversation to complete it for the sake of it. So what we are doing in NLP, you went to the structured, you went to the application layer, but before that, let's step back. How does computers understand human languages? That is what NLP fundamentally is all about. Structured, unstructured, stock, this, that, etc. We leave it much later. So that is what was NLP. And to just set you the context, this is not a new field. This didn't come out 2 years back when ChatGPT came. Nothing like that. Like anything else in computers or in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and all that, we have to go back to Mr. Alan Turing, Sir Alan Turing. In 1950, he came up with a paper called Computing Machinery and Intelligence, where he talked, and the famous Turing test. Computers are intelligent or not. Today we are talking about Turing test. And there are also questions, computers have surpassed Turing test and all that. We leave it. So in 1950, this man conceptualized something like this, that computers need to understand computing machinery and intelligence. He was the very first to use those terms. And there's another gentleman who we have to give credit for this field. You might have heard what from ChatGPT from OpenAI, Claude from Anthropic. That Claude name is actually a reference, an homage to Mr. Claude Shannon. And that Shannon is
since you have mentioned this, I have heard that there is a AI tool also called Claude.
Correct. That is from this company called Anthropic. It is the ChatGPT competitor from the other company.
Okay.
So just like Elon Musk gave reference and homage to Tesla, the Anthropic company has given homage to Claude Shannon. You learn this called Shannon law, Shannon theory, and all that in communication. I'm an electronics and communication engineer. Anything in communication all goes back to Shannon. Why it's so important? Today, our mobile communication, the cell phones we are using, all won't even exist without this man's information theory. And I'll not go into that. That's by itself a whole topic. All we have to say is that information theory was also part of NLP, or those are all predecessors to NLP. So a lot of work has been happening from those days. And today it has come to multiple things. Let me give you 2 examples and then move on to your question per se. Earlier when NLP was studying, it was bringing computational linguistics and then machine learning and computer languages, and a lot of language experts were working on it. You would have seen even in University of Madras, Tamil department, there's a big computational linguistics department. That is how these two, first for computers to understand your language, you need to understand the language. Only so when you understand, they will give the grammar rules, etc. Those were called rule-based teaching the computers. Then today what we are doing is statistical approach, and then we have moved on to neural networks. That's what our GPT and all that is using. So what I want to say is this field in the last 70 years has grown from simply making machines understand language to the various approaches are being used. Now coming to your question on structured and unstructured, I'll try to show you a very simple example in just as a demo. But the idea is computers, first they have to understand language, then you give them structured data. They were able to understand a little bit. You give database and all that as structured data. Today you're able to ask computers, or not even today, 20, 30 years, you can say sort this value, find out the largest value, total this value, which means it's able to understand the values that you have given and do. The problem comes when it is unstructured. That is why today LLMs who are able to understand the language a lot more are able to process with it. I'll show you a quick example if I can share my screen. Very simple example.
Can share.
Okay, just a second. Let me do that. Yes. So that will give your audience an idea on what are we talking here. Okay. So this is a very simple example. I'm using a tool called abacus.ai. It's similar. It internally used GPT 4.0. So it gives me subscription to all this. For $10, I get access to all these LLM models through one subscription. So it's from a company called Abacus AI. I have not invested. I wish I have invested on that, but no sponsorship here. Anyways, there are multiple other people offering these kind of services. What I'm doing here is a couple of days back, I went to a Thai Chennai entrepreneur charter member dinner. I took notes. There was this gentleman, Bert Miller, who's founder of California Burrito. He was giving a very beautiful talk about his journey. So I took notes. These were my notes. 90 stores. What do you take in your phone? All of us, right? We just take down as we speak. We just write it down. So I was taking all of these notes, but I can't share it to anyone. If I give it to you, you won't understand what am I talking here. Delivering 55 to 57%, physical stores pay off, single promoter shouldn't be scaring. This is my scribble. Basically, I'm sharing you the scribble that I took on in my phone. I wanted to blog it. So I've written all these notes. Okay, some 40, 50 lines I've written, but it's not, even I read it after 2 days, I won't understand what's there. I want to write it into a blog. So this is not structured data. This is kind of unstructured, more unstructured than thoughts. Points. Okay, and they're not explained correctly. So there has to be the context has to be taken care, etc. So I've given the prompt. That's where I sent the context. Who am I? I'm Thai Chennai Association member. I've attended this program by this person. These are my rough notes. Can you please turn it into a blog post? That's what I've given the instruction to ChatGPT.
Oh, no repetition of point. I want the post to be informative and useful for entrepreneurs. Wow.
That's what I've written. So it's like telling my assistant, here is my notes. Please write it for, what do you tell an assistant? So I gave all that information. And then I gave the notes that I've given. What you will see at the bottom, it's turned out into a beautiful blog post.
Oh.
Okay. So I have to polish a little bit. We'll not go into the actual blog reading, but I'll just show you the output blog I finally wrote.
Oh.
Okay. So here is my output blog. And I wrote from that notes into this.
Oh.
Okay. So if you see those notes that I've written, which were crude points, that nobody could understand, was turned into a beautiful blog post.
Wow.
Of course, there is a caveat, of course. It only did 90% of the job. 10% I have to correct where it misunderstood some points because it was my notes.
Correct.
It needed me to give the context because it is my notes. I know what I heard. So
yeah, Venkat, actually, between two human beings itself, when we communicate, many misunderstanding happens. So naturally, so we need to tell second time or third time to actually correct. Okay, what the context at which we told.
Correct. So the point is, I remember what I talked. For example, this point, it misunderstood. That is, it was saying government officials were taking bribes. No, the person, bad apples in this organization was using them. But from my notes, it was not clear. So it is my notes mistake than the system mistake. But I was able to give the context to it, give the information and correct it. So the point I want to drive is from unstructured notes, it is able to create into a structured blog post. Not only structured, it has also made it as an interesting read. If I give you the notes, you will not read it. It has made it into an interesting, engaging blog post that humans will be able to read further. And then there is a collaboration between me and the computer, me and the LLM model. That is the main point I want to drive down. This is not you throw some garbage into LLM and say, do the job for me, I'll go and sit and relax and come back after 2 days. Nothing like that. You have to work along with it. It's like you working with an intern, you working with an assistant, you working with a copy editor, you work with LLM and you'll get the output. So which means for your professionals, when we are talking about extracting information from documents, if you are going to throw an Excel sheet and say, oh, here is an Excel sheet of a profit and loss company, from a company, should I invest or not? It's not able to going to give you any answers. But what you need to do is, oh, boss, this is a coffee company. This is Starbucks P&L. I'm also giving you Chai King's P&L. I'm also, can you go and read some other company, Tata Coffee P&L? And now can you analyze 3 of them and tell me, should I invest in Chai King? Should I invest in Coffee Pot? Whatever. You set the context, you give it more information. One thing it can do brilliantly than us, it can go to the vast internet and pick up all that information, which is going to take years and years for us to capture. So all this is possible. Again, coming back to the topic of the day, whatever this we have seen is all thanks to NLP. It's all thanks to GPT able to understand the language.
Very good, very good. So it looks like a miracle, but the kind of technological development we are able to see through the processing. So the language is your rough notes, and processing is your tool. Whatever the tool you have used, your rough notes has been processed. The rough note is your language, so that has been processed, and it gives you a structured data. So it's
wow. You can use. You're training people. You're communicating to your organization. You can do these notes. Quickly take them and then ideate them and then improve them into longer post. That is the advantage of today's tools. Rather than, okay, I'll give you one more example. For example, you are talking about abstract numbers and concepts. People like stories. I'm reading this book. Again, not a promotion of this. It's a 100-year-old book. The Richest Man of Babylon. Very simple. Again, the reason I picked up this book is, if you haven't read, please read this book. It's a very small book. The first topic that they say is invest 10% of your money, whatever you earn, then only spend 90%. Imagine 10% of the money you didn't get. Okay. So, which is, I'm sure, a common wisdom financial experts always give. But he doesn't say that as it is. He starts with the story of the richest person in Babylon, and then he gives this as a story. Okay. So I'm remembering the story today. The point was next. 1 year from now, you ask me what percentage did he ask me to invest. I won't remember, but you ask me to recall the story I read here. I will be able to. So coming back, the reason I'm saying you want to explain a complex concept, you come to ChatGPT or Google Gemini or Claude and say, here is my concept. Okay. Can you tell me a story to say that?
Okay.
Again, coming back. The computer is able to understand that humans communicate in languages and it's able to comprehend human languages. So that is why it is able to tell you a story. We were talking reverse. I tell a text computer understanding. Computer is able to generate a story. Means it should have some idea about this whole thing.
Very good. Very
I'm
good.
abstracting all this, so please don't think computer is creatively thinking a story and all that. At the end of the day, it's all mathematics that is happening. I'll give you a few more examples where NLP is actually being used. One is document AI. You're looking at documents, extracting information, which becomes very, very important because in today's world, as computers are generating huge amounts of data. Let's take Swiggy, for example, or Zomato. It generates like billions of signals every minute because there are millions of their people going around and millions of Indians ordering food, millions of restaurants. They have all these signals and they know whether it is raining, not raining, traffic is in one point and all that. Now, if I'm a Taj Kitchen, I want to use Zomato data. Let's assume there is a partnership. I'm not saying there's a partnership or not. I'm just taking an example. Taj hotels want to understand, okay, should I be cooking more of seafood today? That's a decision they need to take. So again, someone to have this data, and assuming there's a partnership. There's all these signals, millions of signals. From this, how can Taj hotel chef decide should he be cooking seafood today or not? It's mind-boggling. We can't even comprehend this data. And there's no point in giving them charts. Okay, chef, come. I'll put you all these beautiful charts on what is being ordered right now. It's not going to be useful. We are having a launchpad like thing in ISRO or NASA. It's not going to be useful. All the Taj chef will want, cook seafood today for this reason. Don't cook today for this reason. That's all. From this millions and millions of signals, that is where you have to build analytical models and all that using Power BI, Tableau, Excel, whatever. Do all that. And then give that to your LLMs, generative AI, and that will be able to summarize this in one single line that a chef will be able to understand and action. So this is what we call actionable data, actionable insights. That is where things are now moving. So that is one document AI. Then dialogue management, dialogue as in team dialogue interaction, movie dialogue interactions. We are going to be seeing movies being written by computers. Of course, when I say written by computers, there's going to be a creative person thinking. The computer is going to augment his skills. Next, question answering. The other day, I had a huge non-disclosure agreement from a multinational company, 40-page non-disclosure agreement. I don't know who reads 40-page non-disclosure agreement to me. I just wanted to say, I wanted to figure out that, is there any direct liability? What is the cost of, if there is a liability for me to sign? And I could have given it to a lawyer and he would have charged me. I think it's not, there was no ROI on that. I just gave it to one of these tools and said, can you read this whole document and tell me, according to Indian law, are there any points that I should be worried about? And what is my liability clause? Like matter of seconds, it was able to tell it to me. That was the power of this. Of course, again, I like to caution again, it's not computer smartly advising me. No, I'm smart enough to ask the correct question. That is what is important.
That prompt, whatever the prompt which you have written at the beginning, that is the that creates the stage and the context for the AI to actually comprehend whatever the input you have given. It can be a 40-page document or just a pointers of 20-line pointers.
There's this philosophical statement, right? It's more easier to answer rather than ask questions. Like the famous MGR song also. Right? Only when you ask why human civilization has grown and all that philosophically. So the point, humans still have a very, very large role to do in this because we are the ones who have the experience of life and all that. So we can ask them why, how, and all that, and then computers will be able to answer. Again, even asking questions, I can get the help of the computer. But then, what am I wanting to do? The objective is mine. That is the power. Let me give you 2-3 more examples quickly, and then I'll take your questions. Question answering, then text to image generation, which you have seen now, image generation, text to scene generation for movies, text to video. We are seeing a lot of these video coming in. Today, a whole generation, I'm afraid, will only understand videos. They won't even know how to read. We are all seeing reels. So tomorrow you have to take a class on chartered accountancy. You have to only do videos to them. You can't write text to them. I'm not caring. It's how people will comprehend. Then your classic examples of voice recognition, voice generation, fraud detection, regulatory compliance, language translation is a huge field. What we have today, Google Translator and all, is tip of the iceberg. We are going to be seeing very, very seamless translation, like the famous Babelfish and all that in the science fiction, Douglas Adams. Those are going to come. It's a matter of time, months and years. So that's the long answer.
Super. I have a very interesting question from maybe from a learner perspective. Maybe if I need to drill down more into NLP and I need to get a grip on NLP as a reader, should I have to have maybe as a mathematics integration, differentiation, calculus, algebra, and language? Should I need to understand the computer languages, the various coding and the mathematics? Is these two are important for me to understand or to drill down into NLP? Because from NLP user, because I'm only a user side. So also, what is your take on it?
That's a very, very, very relevant practical question. Today, there are only probably thousands of people, if it's only in thousands of people who understand actually the statistics and the mathematics that goes behind all of this. It is a very, very, very complex field. They are called data scientists, AI scientists, and all that. So for all practical purposes, we don't need to understand any of them. If you are curious, we can go and read them. Those materials are today YouTube. If you search NLP basics, there are phenomenal amount of content that's available for you. It's like I've been driving a car, like most of you, 30, 35 years. I don't understand how a combustion engine works. I don't care. Okay. Today, the Maruti or the Honda serviceman will say, you better not touch it. Just bring it to us. We'll take care. You'll only mess it up. Okay. It's like I filing a tax return, messing up the whole thing, and then coming and telling you, oh, boss, last year I messed up. Please correct it for me. So it's most often, though I'm telling it jokingly, most often it's better you don't need to go into all that. If you're interested, nobody is going to stop you, but it's going to take you years to understand that. Okay. That aside, most important, I'll tell you, please understand language. Please, all of us mostly in the call, I presume, are all Indians. English is not our mother tongue. English is not my mother tongue, nor yours or any of us in this thing. Better we improve our English communication, English language, English grammar to be better. We can write bad spelling. Computer is going to correct it. But if you are able to get it correctly, the same notes, had I taken a bit more effort to write it a little bit more elegantly, it would have given me more precise, more eloquent reply. I was lazy. I said, I throw it's my notes. So coming back, sometimes we don't, the way we communicate, because English is not our mother tongue, when I'm saying something bad, I actually meaning I'm being probably sarcastic or I'm being negative, because our mother tongues, all South Indian languages, it's very nuanced. We can do that is one single Tamil word. You compound words we can create. So our thought process works like that. English is not like that. So if you want to be good in NLP, I'd say please improve your English communication. It's a matter of time. Computers are going to, even today, they do understand Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, Hindi and all that. But for the foreseeable next few years, it's going to be definitely English. So you want to be powerful in using these tools, please improve your English language. Again, for that, you can use these tools to tell us how do you improve it.
Wonderful. Now, last question. Sunday, let us permit our participants also to enjoy their time. But this is very, very important. Whenever we give data and we give information, structured or unstructured data to NLP to analyze and comprehend, I wish NLP throws me a report. It generates a report. For example, I will give since I am from a finance side, I'll give the past 5-year financial statements, past 5-year balance sheet. I want some ratios to be calculated and it has to throw out. I will give past 5-year profit and loss account. I may ask the NLP to actually give me a projection of next 5 years or 10 years with some pointers. So can this kind of report generation also can be done through NLP AI?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is where, like all I was saying is the actionable intelligence I was talking about is precisely this. You want to do some action. Okay, you want to give a report and say, is this company worthwhile for me to invest or not? Can you compare it with its peers and tell me? Okay, and that information, again, with the human in the loop, it's going to be so powerful because you're not going to waste your time on. Let me give a very simple example to get the point across. Today, when we were in school, we would have said you need to know the tables, mathematic tables, very well, because you need to compute very fast. Today, how much of us can, you go to a store, grocery store, without a computer, they can't even generate a bill. So we as humans have figured out, oh, the totaling and multiplication, division, addition, subtraction is a skill that humans, we don't need to know. We need to know the basics, but I don't need to do the drudgery of it every time. Let me give it to a computer, calculator, and then a computer. We have offloaded that part to think. We have offloaded writing to typewriters and printers and all that. Similarly, coming back, this Excel data, to going through that formula and doing all that calculation, taking the formula, putting it back, you obviously want the computer to do all that offload that work to it. Where you want to come in is your experience, your years of experience on using that information on what to do. Decision making is what you want to get into. You want to throw the data to the computer and say, analyze this data, tell me what is the actionable items I can use, but ultimately you will decide whether you should be taking that action or not. Because
that is where sorry to so this is where I think so that is where I think the way you prompt it at the beginning, you were writing what is the context, what is the data, what do you want, so whatever is there inside my mind, I should not keep it inside my mind and expect computer to do it. So whatever is there inside my mind, what I want, I have to comprehend it properly and give that prompt so that the particular processing happens and the report is generated. Am I right?
Absolutely. This is where I said, please improve your English skills. When I said that, how do you write the prompt? Prompt is just English commands. In few years or a matter of months, it can be even in Tamil. So it's not about whatever is the language, understand your language, learn it properly. Okay, so you're able to communicate correctly. So if you're able to write that prompt and most of the time when you're able to ask a correct question, your thinking has improved. You are clear on what you want to do. I come to you and say, oh, GK, should I buy a car or should I buy a house? You'll be able to advise me. But if I say, GK, I have some 1 crore, I don't know what to do. Can you tell me some idea? Can you give me a business idea? That business idea is there, you will invest that 1 crore of yours. Why do you need my 1 crore?
Correct.
If I'm able to come to you with the correct question, you'll be able to action it. That's true with computers also.
Amazing.
You can face. You can, oh, Venkat looks rich guy. Instead of 1 crore, I can ask him 10 crores. You can figure it out. Computer, poor thing, at least today, they can't read those things very effectively.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure actually to listen to Venkatarangan Thirumalai, especially past 30 minutes plus. We have even gone up to 35 minutes now. But the kind of clarity and the depth at which we have gone into the subject is fabulous. And this is a beginning. And we'll have such a session with the support of Venkatarangan Thirumalai in the coming week also. Every Sunday, kindly don't miss to join us by 12 noon. And we will be focusing on various facets of artificial intelligence, coming out with at least one live example, some live use case. Today, I was actually thrilled and wow, I must say wow, when he showed the abacus.ai tool, where his pointers, which he took from one of the sessions he attended, and abacus.ai could able to comprehend your question and went through those pointers, and it could make into an essay, a blog. And it's such a, it looks like abacus.ai is like a personal secretary. So very, maybe whether it is a beautiful secretary or not, I don't know, but it is definitely an intelligent secretary. So it can comprehend what, but the one thing I understand from Mr. Venkatarangan Thirumalai, that the way you instruct, that is what you are going to get. So machine is good in, good out. You give garbage in, you are only going to get garbage out. So that is where our human intelligence cannot replace natural, artificial intelligence, but human intelligence along with artificial intelligence can actually change the way. And I'm sure we are now in 2024. I am thrilled to actually see the future, 2030, 2034, how it will be. And I don't see that henceforth the keying of data in the machine may not happen. So it is only data will be automatically read. We need to only instruct machines what to do. So that is, I think we need to change ourselves. How do we need to give instructions to machines? So like how we, I think even I have to ask some more questions also. Like, can I be a little rude to machine? Hey, do this, do that. I don't want this. You are an idiot. Don't do this. So I think we should also, and then I think it will also throw me the trash only. If I throw trash to the machine also will throw trash. So I have to be humble. Kindly give me a paragraph. Kindly give me a please comprehend and give me a report. So I think the way we show emotions to human beings, we should also prompt in such a way. Then only I think people who write those languages at the behind, those 1,000+ people whom you mentioned, they would also been like that. That only when people put a very nice way of prompt, it should also throw a proper answer. So I think many we will be discussing in the coming weeks forward. And I wish to listen to the just last two line from Venkatarangan Thirumalai as a closing remark before we sign off today. Over to Venkat.
Thanks, GK, for this wonderful session. And the audience, I saw a lot of people still online. So my suggestion to you is take any of these tools, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Copilot, whatever, okay, and play around with it. The tool is definitely not going to come to you and say, oh, you have asked this question wrongly, nothing like that. In fact, you can even ask those tools, how do I ask the question correctly? Please help me. It's going to do that. And get your data now from the last few months. These tools are now able to understand documents. You can upload Excel, you can upload PDF, and then ask questions. Once you do that, you will be able to see how powerful these tools are. And if you're able to try something and you have questions, in the follow-up sections, you can ask us and we'll be happy to go through them.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much, Venkat. And thank you all for joining on time and being with us for this Sunday special webinar, and requesting each and every one of you to also join coming Sunday also and the ensuing week, and wish you all a very happy Diwali for this coming week, and enjoy, celebrate, and have a safe Diwali. Thank you very much.